Hey, what's up everyone? Mike here, and this is going to be my week in review as a reseller you're about to watch. And I just kind of want to go over things quickly before you watch behind the scenes film. Last week wasn't very productive for me, not because I wasn't getting things done, but because I couldn't get things done due to the fact that I was sick for about 3 days. I spent 2 full days in bed. I had some kind of stomach flu where I couldn't eat. I would get sick immediately after eating. And so I actually didn't eat for 48 hours, like almost nothing. And so that made me like very deprived of energy. But anyways, because of that, this video is a little lacking in content because there wasn't a lot that I was doing for multiple days that I could record. I did a lot of online sniping and just kind of computer work when I could, but it's kind of hard to record that and convey it through like camera footage. I would have to screen cap my screen and it just becomes like a big hassle. So the videos I did record, I try to make them detail oriented and kind of in my process of how I package FBA, what I do while I'm doing that, how I clean things, and my thought process behind things as well. I am sick in the video, so I'm a bit quiet, so I apologize for the audio quality, but I'm rendering the clips now. I'm going to edit them in a second and then add this on top of it. But there's a few other things I want to cover. Sunday was the live show. If you didn't check it out, you can go watch it. Mike Franco, who is Global Voodoo, was on with George and I thought it was a great show. I had a great time, and we got up to over 50 viewers at a midnight show. Like, thanks so much for coming out very late. I appreciate that a ton. I didn't expect anyone to come out because it was so late due to the Cavs game, and the show will be back on schedule from now on. It'll be, I believe we're doing it 10 p.m. Eastern, maybe 11. I don't know. I'll post in the Facebook group. I'll double check with George and do what's best for him. I try to schedule it so it's easiest for him. And something else I was just trying while these videos were rendering was sniping on shopgoodwill.com. This was advice given to me by George. He buys a lot of shoes there, he said. So he said, go check it out, see if you can find anything. And I've spent about an hour and a half there. I found a lot of good lots of clothing, video games, vintage electronics. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'll win. Like, I put my bids in, we'll see what happens. So far, I'm pretty sure I got one good deal on the Xbox 360. But as packages come in throughout the next week, you'll see everything I sniped this week. And I'll talk about the stuff, my mindset into why I bought those items, and how you can do the same. But on an overall level, I just want to thank everyone for all the support on the last behind the scenes video. You guys seem to love it. It got a ton of views, tons of comments, tons of thumbs up. So thanks so much. I'm glad everyone enjoys the long format video over the short. I kind of predicted that would happen. And so every week I'll just keep doing the same thing. So I'll record some more behind the scenes clips this week and what's going on with me, how I'm doing things, and you guys will see it in the upcoming week. If you haven't joined the Facebook group or any of that stuff, it's down in the description. Please join the community. We really have a great community, and I would love for all of you watching to join and support it. So thanks so much. Here we go. Hey everyone, Mike here, and I'm going to show you a couple things. I got this Admiral tape player at the yard sale the other day, and while it's in perfect condition and works when it's plugged in, I failed to realize that there was a battery compartment filled with batteries that corroded the contacts. And I actually just contacted Chad Pagel, so thanks Chad for the quick response on what I can do to clean that. So I'm going to clean this on video just quickly. And then I have the vintage iron that's just dirty, really. I mean, it has some spots of tarnishing, but I'm going to clean this as well and just show you guys what I'm going to do here. Now Chad said for the contacts, make a paste of like white vinegar and then baking soda, like a thick paste, and then put it on there, let it sit for a while, kind of scrape it off and brush it out. I have like a normal dish brush that you can buy any store for like $1. So this looks pretty thin, but it tends to thicken up really fast since all of the liquid dissolves quickly because of the CO2. So I'm going to add a little bit more baking powder. Or soda, I'm sorry. We want it to be pretty thick so it sticks to the contacts and, you know, kind of eats away that corrosion, and then we'll brush it off when it dries out some. It's almost like the consistency of glue. I'm going to go a little teeny bit thicker. I'm going to use a glove to put it in there, that way I know it's on the contact nice and clean. Now the thing is, the contacts on this, hopefully you guys can see well, they're pretty bad on this side, but on the inside they're actually very clean. So it's really down here that I'm kind of concerned about. The main thing I don't like is this is going to make a big mess in here, but hopefully it'll dry out quick and I can just scrape all this stuff out for the most part. Alright, so I have it slathered on the contacts. I'm going to set it upright so that stuff doesn't seep into the inside. Now the best part about like baking soda and vinegar is it's not going to damage any metal or anything. It's basically, when you mix the two, it creates CO2, which helps lift debris off of metal and such. If you're cleaning metal, no matter what, like, I'm not an expert in vintage, but I know for a fact that you want to make sure that the moisture doesn't stay on the metal. You know, what makes rust is oxygen and moisture, those two things. So if you don't want something to rust, definitely don't like slather it in liquid and then let it air dry. But I'm just gonna get a good amount of baking soda on here, and then I'm just gonna wipe it with a cloth I have. There's a dial in here that's pretty dirty, so I want to try and get in there and clean out the numbers some. The other thing is the baking soda is abrasive, so it's kind of like if you took a very soft sandpaper to whatever you're dealing with, you can feel it actually, the little beads help remove all the dirt. Alright, and I just grabbed some warm water here. I'm going to wipe it quickly with a napkin to get this excess baking soda off of it, or baking powder, or soda off of it. And then, like I said, you don't want it to stay wet, so you want to dry it immediately after you get all the residue off. And see, there's a crack here at the bottom that has some dirt in there, so I'm going to try and get that out. And you want a brush that's soft enough that you're not going to damage the metal. The bristles on that are pretty soft. I don't think they'll scratch it, as long as I'm not like jamming it in there. Now, something that's very useful are melamine sponges. Like, this is a magic eraser. What most people don't realize is the magic eraser is not magic. It's just a very porous foam, and you can buy melamine off-brand sponges for much cheaper than magic eraser. But basically how this works is it's filled with millions of porous little holes, and what they do is they actually work like sandpaper. That's why when you like rub these on your walls to get crayon off, a lot of times you end up taking paint off as well. So you have to use these with caution for sure, but they can be very useful for buffing things out since they're porous, and they can be good as like a last touch on something if it has little you know, impediments of dirt stuck anywhere on it. So I'm going to hit it with this just quickly. You don't want to overdo it. You'll end up, you know, eating into the metal if you're not paying attention. Especially if something's painted, there's an easy way to take paint off. If you're not paying attention, you start buffing with the magic eraser or a melamine sponge. Next thing you know, you have a big blank spot of paint. So as you can see, it looks much shinier. I'm going to dry it off quickly and completely. That way there's no chance of rust. And you might even want to put it in front of a fan for a few minutes to really make sure it's dry. But as you can see, the thing is shiny. It looks about 1,000,000 times better. And I mean, I can buff it out even more and make it like ridiculously shiny and mirrored effect. But I basically was just trying to clean it so I could take photos. And I think it's pretty close to where it needs to be. By the way, I'm not an expert on cleaning vintage stuff at all. I mean, I've cleaned video games from time to time, contacts on games, but I just kind of followed Chad's advice on this one. You know, he said there's other videos to look up and stuff. There for sure is. I was just curious to how he did it. And baking soda is always a good way to go because it can't really damage anything unless you're being a complete moron. So I think that looks pretty good, especially since I don't clean a lot of vintage stuff. It's nice and shiny, looks great. Now I'm going to go back to this and see how that's looking. It's still eating away on the contacts, so I'm going to cut away for a while. I'm going to let it sit, and then hopefully we can brush those out real nice and at least make it look better. Even though the plug works fine, I just want to make sure the contacts look good as well. Hey, what's up everyone? Mike here. It is currently Friday morning. It's right around 10 a.m. I'm going to apologize ahead of time if my energy level is a little low here because I am sick, which I'll talk about in a second. But there's a few things I want to talk about. Last night the Cavs lost, which was disappointing to say the least. They played absolutely terrible on an overall level. And so now they're headed back to Golden State. And now no matter what to win the series, they have to win a game in Golden State. And that's going to be rough. Now, on top of that, I got a bunch of stuff going on, and now I'm behind because I've been sick. Basically, I have some kind of stomach flu or something, and I can't eat anything, which is making me really, really tired. Because I have no energy. I can only drink things. I tried to eat yesterday, and I got sick pretty quick, like within 20 minutes, and so I haven't eaten in like 2 days now. I tried to eat some small stuff here and there, but nothing like no meal or anything, and so that's really screwing me up because yesterday I slept like 90% of the day. I just got up to watch the Cavs game and went right back to bed. So now I'm behind on eBay shipping. I didn't even get to finish my Amazon shipment, which was supposed to be out Wednesday night, hopefully, and now it's Friday. So I'm going to try and muscle through it today, get it done no matter what. I'll record some of that for sure because I am going to package all that stuff. I have no choice whether or not I feel good. I got to get up and get it done. See, the best part about working for yourself is the fact that when you're sick or something, you can relax and you can enjoy what you need to do. However, since I did that yesterday, I'm now behind, and I just don't like being behind on things. I was hoping to upload videos and stuff to YouTube, and I never got to edit them or anything. So now I'm behind on every platform, which is okay. I'll get stuff uploaded, a little bit later. I try not to upload things on the weekend because they just don't do well. So that's why I'm not going to upload them now or do them today. But I'm going to work on the FBA shipment and get that done. I'll record some of that. And I got some eBay sales. My eBay sales are actually doing good this week, which makes me happy. In the past I've had some issues with eBay lately, and I only have like 70 something listings up, and I have more sales now than I had in like the previous 4 weeks, so that's awesome. If any of you are Orange is the New Black fans, let me know. I would like to hear about that. The new season came out this morning, and I'm a big fan of the show. I really like it. There's only a few shows I actually watch at all. One of them being Orange is the New Black, and I loved Breaking Bad. And then House of Cards is fantastic as well. Those are like the only three shows I keep up with. Obviously, Breaking Bad's over now, but Orange is the New Black has some good writing. It's really kind of funny and mixed with serious at the same time, which I really enjoy. And it's a great show to kind of have on while you're working. And that's personally why I love Netflix. I can just let things play, let comedy skits play, and just enjoy while I'm listening. But I'm rambling here, and I just kind of want to catch everyone up, get everyone on the same page. I was on the Resellers meet and greet on Tuesday. If you missed that, I'll try and put the link in the description, or just go search Golden Finger Picker, and it's one of his most recent videos. I had a fantastic time. We talked about video games, retro toys. We got to see Chad miss his nostalgic years, so it was actually a really great time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Lots of laughs, lots of fun, and I thought it was a great show overall. So go check it out if you haven't seen it or if you weren't there. On top of that, the P&L report this week, by the time you're watching this video, would have been at midnight. So if you didn't watch that by now, you can go ahead and check that out as well. George and I are working on the $10 challenge, which I'm now way behind on because I ordered something really awesome for it. I got a really rare retro video game wireless controller with the dongle, and then the person sent it to me damaged. So now I paid $9 for it. I was really happy because I thought I could easily turn it into $50, $60. And now I just can't use it for the challenge at all. So now I have to find something else to use, but yet I don't even feel like doing anything. But I'm going to hop off here. I'll see you guys real soon, and hopefully in the next couple days I'll feel much better. You'll know for sure if you see the P&L report and I'm sloth-like or I'm very energetic. We'll see by then, and hopefully the Cavs will win Sunday. So I'm just going to kind of hang out here and prep while I'm sitting just because I'm tired and achy. But I'm going to prep in front of the camera the whole thing, and I'll kind of point out any important notes or anything I think anyone should know, and I'll speed up the rest. So the first thing I do is I pull out anything that needs stickers removed off of it. That's like the first step always when I'm prepping. I only have like 4 things this time, and I'll use the heat gun. A lot of times the stickers have been on for a long time, so I end up with a bunch of residue even after you heat them. Like this has a void label. I don't know that I'll be able to get that off, which is fine. I actually listed it and noted that there is a sticker on here. But these have like a little bit of residue left, which I typically use Goo Gone or just water and a magic eraser. This one's getting kind of gross. Goo Gone plus the magic eraser usually works really well. Just make sure you get all of the Goo Gone off because it is a bit oily. Alright, the next step after I get stickers off of everything is I clean anything that's dusty, needs to be inspected, wiped off, any of that stuff, and I keep it really simple. A lot of people like to use so many different things. I clean in a very simple manner. First of all, as always, I use any kind of melamine sponge. Magic eraser is made out of melamine. You could also get off-brand ones for much cheaper if you buy them in bulk. Just typical water, paper towels, or something that's highly absorbent. Microfiber towels for like buffing discs and such. And then just alcohol, higher percent, so 70-80%, something that evaporates pretty quickly. And so like you can see here, this is dusty, so I'm just basically going to clean this stuff off, make it look better before I start actually packaging. And something you'll notice is I'm taking my time here. Typically I'll stand and do this at my other prep table, and I just kind of knock stuff out. I go really fast. I'm not in a hurry today, you know, I'm not in top energy level, so I'm just kind of hanging out, watching TV, and doing this. Something like this connect is a little more delicate. You don't want to damage the lenses, so I tend to use alcohol on the actual lens portion of this. I'll just wipe the base off with the water, get the dust off, and then shine the lenses with the microfiber towels. So the next thing I check is the discs. Like I tend to send in a lot of discs, so I open every case and just quickly scan the disc. If it needs buffed, I'll buff it with a microfiber towel and alcohol only. It's important when you buff discs not to use anything rough. Even something like a paper towel can easily scratch a disc surface. That's why I use microfiber towels or like really soft type of tissue or something of the sort. So once I'm done cleaning everything, I move on to securing wires and zip tying. I'm going to do that now, and then the next step will be to bag things and then label them last. It's very important that when you do the cords on controllers, you do them the way I show you. You go up, then back down, and you create this bunch in the middle. This relieves the cord of all pressure points because this is not a significant pressure point on either end. When you wrap the cord around the controller, you create a significant pressure point at the part it pops out at the top, and then at each turn. That'll eventually ruin the cable and make it basically the controller worthless. If you ever see these fiber optic digital cables, make sure you don't wrap them tightly. Instead of doing what I just did, you want to wrap these in a round motion but wide. Fiber optics are easy to break and you don't want to have tight corners on them. So you want like a circle, something like this. So ideally to be wrapped like this where there's no pressure points whatsoever. Right, the next step is bagging, and then we tag everything. So I'm going to show you how I bag things, explain exactly how I go through it. If you're interested in any of the supplies I showed in this video, I'll go ahead and link it down in the description. That way you can order it if you need. And I'll leave affiliate links usually. You could help support the channel if you'd like. You don't have to. But I like to make sure the link's there so you can reference exactly what I use and use it if you need to as well. So when I have something that has multiple components, for instance, these Turtle Beaches have this headset, this mic, as well as this mic, this controller cable, this mix amp, and this digital audio cable out and get lost or anything. And then I have all these cables and this mix amp. So I'll try and bag this mix amp individually. So now all the components are bagged together. I'll seal this bag and then I'll explain why I don't bubble wrap and like, you know, do extra packaging on this. So this game capture also has a bunch of components, and so I'll take the cables, roll them up, and then put them in another bag with this. You can see it's wrapped nicely in a bundle. It looks nice and neat, and it's pretty safe because if you wrap this tight, it actually becomes like an air bubble. Now, as long as games don't open easily, like if they snap shut nicely, I don't wrap them or bag them at all. I just put a barcode over the back here. On sealed games, you can put the barcode directly on the plastic wrap, although I personally like to put it in a bag then do that. However, someone already sent this to FBA, so I'm just going to put a sticker over it. And then if there's something that has a sliding sleeve that can easily slide off, I will stretch wrap it just so it doesn't slide off at any point, and then I'll put the label right over the barcode on the back as well. And I'll show you guys how I package disc-only games. Also in this lot is a brand new book, or actually it's not new, it's like new, and you don't need to bag these at all either, just put the barcode over the back. For disc-only games, I will cut a piece of cardboard that fits perfectly the width of this bag, and then I will set the game right on the cardboard. And then I will try and bend that so that it's snug in here. If I can, make sure it sits on the cardboard fully. And then the idea is this disc won't really move. It can move side to side, but it'll never slide off the cardboard. And so it won't get scratched. And this is a nice hardy backing, so there's not really going to be any issue with this being damaged anyway, unless something punctured it, in which case Amazon would have to cover it. So this is like the absolute last step before packing, and it's just going to be labeling and finalizing everything. So what I do is I print out packing slips from the site for each different shipment. That way I can organize everything ahead of time, and then I label it, and I have labels that correspond to each shipment. So I just put them together and then label all that stuff, and I move on to the next shipment that's going somewhere else. Now I use the label sheets. I'll have them down in the description, where I print all of them out, and then I can just peel them off one by one and go right down the list. On certain things you need like don't separate stickers. Usually I just write them out. Honestly, it takes me like 10 seconds to write them. And the only reason I started doing that was because I've ordered labels from the same place for like 5 years, and they didn't have do not separate labels, but they had like the suffocation labels and all that. So I just never ordered them, and I just never thought to look for them. So I've just been writing them. I don't need that many to begin with. I only use them on things like, you know, this where there's like a dongle and a controller. So obviously, as I start sending in more stuff, it's probably more efficient just to order them from somewhere. I just never got to it. I just write them out. But then when I label this, I put the don't separate stickers on before I ever do barcodes. So I'll just make sure all the bundles have one. Basically, that is for the employees, just to make sure they don't open and separate these apart. And then you also need suffocation warning labels on bags that have more than, I think it's a 10-inch flat gap, or I always forget the number. I do every time. But whatever the flat gap is, I put them basically on everything anyways. My larger bags have them printed, but then these smaller bags do not. So, these smaller bags do not. So right before I package the packages, I have my label dispenser over there, and I just slap them on all of them. But basically that's the gist of it. I'm just going to label this stuff, and I'm going to pack it some point today. I'm not going to record that because it's too complicated to set it up, and I'm just not up for it today. But there will be a very, very detailed step-by-step sending video games to FB really soon. I just kind of want to break it down while I was doing it today, sitting around doing it. I'll see you guys real soon. We're going to cut to some other clips now.